on an all-new Dr. Phil. He denies.
I don't take steroids. Next question.
And denies.
Is that not what you said to her?
No idea what you're talking about. Next question.
Is this model with killer looks killing himself?
You just need to be honest, man.
You're bringing up something that's not even a problem.
Drugs will kill you, and your mother will cripple you.
Is his mom enabling her drug-addicted son?
Are you going to be a help here? Because you haven't been so far.
And will he ever admit the truth?
I'm here to talk about drugs and alcohol. So if you want to help me out with that, then let's do it.
Well, steroids are drugs.
Next question.
Do you think you're going to negotiate some deal with me to help you? Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things. Stand by, Dr. Phil. I'll try to be an emotional compass and point you in the right direction. In 5, 4. I am not giving up on you. Yesterday, we met Jamie, a model and personal trainer who on the outside looks incredible, but on the inside is falling apart. He has been struggling with an addiction to drugs and alcohol for the last 10 years. But Jamie also has another addiction, a big secret he was adamant about not discussing with me, but his brother and sister-in-law feared if Jamie didn't tell the truth, he would end up in jail or even worse. Here's what happened yesterday.
I started modeling when I was 21 years old. I was known as the internet king of modeling. I was making a great amount of money, but that money vanished with my addiction. In my early 20s, I was averaging 5 to 6 grams a day of cocaine, and I would also drink. So I would do 3 huge lines of cocaine, and then I would drink a half a fifth a bottle of vodka and then a couple swigs. On one of my darkest days, I did coke in my car, driving to go pick up more, and I would do it off my steering wheel. I would drive with a in the bag and drive like this. I have easily spent $200,000 since I started doing cocaine. But now, it's been 20 days since I've had any alcohol, 3 months since I've done cocaine.
Now, you say you're off of the drugs, right?
Yes.
Because you told us you did a line of cocaine on February 6th.
No, I never said that.
You're way worse off than I thought you were.
Jamie has not been honest with us about his drug use.
I asked Jamie about his drinking and drug use when I have an opportunity and if I feel I need to ask him. My love for Jamie is huge. It is over the moon and it is back. It's hard to see him like this, but he's doing great.
Have you manipulated your parents?
Absolutely.
So the fact is, the son you've presented to them is fraud.
For the most part, yes.
Right now, I'm watching my little brother, Jamie, essentially kill himself. And my parents always end up rewarding him. My parents pay for Jamie's car. I believe my parents give Jamie money for rent. My parents give him money for gas. By continuing to financially support Jamie and make excuses for Jamie, they're enabling his use of drugs.
My wife would lie down in traffic for any one of her kids. She's like a lioness. If you corner her or corner one of her kids, I feel sorry for you.
Why have you been trying to control what I talk to him about?
Well, I wouldn't say that I'm trying to control what anyone talks about. I want him to be able to control what he's here to talk about.
My brother Jamie wants the family to keep a secret today, but I am not going to. The secret that my brother Jamie wants to keep hidden is that he's been using steroids for at least 5 years, maybe more. My parents have known for quite some time that he's taking steroids.
He's doing steroids. Are we going to pretend this isn't an issue because he doesn't want to talk about it?
That's not why I'm here. I'll get up and leave right now.
Do whatever you want to do.
Sure. Take it easy.
Okay. Here's the issue. He's compounding his drug use with steroids. You know it. And you called our producer and said, please don't put that in the show. You ought to be demanding that I talk about this. And he gets up and marches his ass out of here. You ought to have him by the ear, dragging him out here and say, set your ass down.
Hey.
You must be Robin.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Robin has joined us, Jamie's girlfriend, and Jamie is back. Robin, I'll talk to you in a minute. Jamie, why are you back?
Want me to sit my ass down and talk? I'm right here. Let's go. You want to talk to me? Let's go.
I don't really want to talk to you. I just want to listen to you. Do you have something you want to say?
I'm here for problems that I want to fix. I'm here for certain things that I want to fix. If I'm not going to get help to prevent it in the future, I'll go get it somewhere else. But I'm here because I want help. I'm here for the problems that I know are problems. I'm not going to sit here and be discredited as an athlete for all the hard work I put into my body and my life. I've been working out for over 23 years, okay?
Didn't you say in your text message that you denied writing to your sister-in-law that you only take steroids in a healthy way that constitutes anti-aging?
No idea what you're talking about. Next question.
Is that not what you said to her?
No idea what you're talking about. Next question.
Okay, so you're denying that you wrote that?
No idea what you're talking about. Let's talk about drugs and alcohol.
Well, steroids are drugs.
Okay, next question.
Okay, and my point is, if in fact you're taking them only in an anti-aging fashion, then why would you be defensive about it?
I'm not defensive about anything that doesn't exist. I'm here to talk about drugs and alcohol, which is the problem. So if you want to help me out with that, then let's do it.
Do you think you're going to negotiate some deal with me to help you?
You're bringing up something that's not even a problem. So I just don't know what you're talking about. Anyone that's out of shape will just be like, oh, he's on steroids. I can't ever look like that. Oh, he must be taking steroids. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're denying taking steroids?
I don't know, man. Why don't you go in the gym and, work out or something, Jesus.
You don't have to get defensive. You just need to be honest, man. Because if you're not going to be honest, you're not going to be able to get the help that you need.
I don't take steroids.
Did you see
Simple.
the things that were on the screen about how steroids compound the issues with the drugs?
They were in your text to Janet about how they compound the issues. You even admitted to it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
They're on the segment. They just showed it. At this point in time, it's very important for both of you to acknowledge that and talk about it. Because if you don't, he's going to continue doing what he's doing.
So we're going to move on, or what are we going to do?
You tell me. I'm very concerned about a potential interaction between all of the substances that you're dealing with. And by the way, I have absolutely no doubt that you work extremely hard in the gym. I have no doubt that you have developed a very vertical expertise in terms of workout, nutrition, and all the things that go into guiding people in terms of health and fitness. But you seem to think that people would be okay with you being addicted to cocaine and alcohol, but not using steroids, which seems to be a real flaw in logic to me. What I'm concerned about is you getting clean, sober, and healthy across the board so you can look anybody in this country in the eye and say, you know what, I had a problem. I had the guts and courage as a man to stand up, look at it, and deal with it. And I can look at you right now today and tell you I dealt with it, and I can give you what you need to get healthy and do what you need to do. And until you can do that and say that, then you do, in fact, lack credibility. And I think you can do that. I think you should do that. And I think when you do that, you will be an absolute inspiration to everybody you work with. That's what I think. And if I tell you, if I was sitting home watching you and saw you dealing with this, saw you manning up and dealing with it, and then had an opportunity to work with you down the road, having seen what you did here, I wouldn't step back from you in a minute. I'd say, that's a guy that had the balls to step up, man up, and deal with it. I would work with you in a heartbreak. Like that. But if I, on the other hand, saw you acting in a belligerent, immature way that was suggestive of not being the kind of person I wanted to be around, then I wouldn't. And so far, you're not doing yourself any favors. But I think you can, and I think you should, and I think if you don't, you're putting your life at risk. I think you're putting your family at risk, and I think you're putting your relationship with this beautiful young woman at risk.
Jamie is very worried about his self-image and about what people think about him. I don't think he wants to be known as being an addict.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil. She survived the Cleveland House of Horrors. Now, Michelle Knight's story comes to the screen.
There are scenes where Taryn is reenacting Michelle being viciously abused.
My mom said, I'm worried about you playing that role.
There are clips that Michelle didn't think she was ready to watch. How do you feel as you watch that?
I feel like I went right back to where I started.
Then on Thursday, her husband was cheating when he was murdered. Now, widow and mistress meet.
He wasn't mine.
You said he wasn't fighting for me, he was fighting for her.
That's Thursday.
Jamie and I have been officially together for 6 months now. I didn't realize that Jamie's drug problem was as bad as it was. When Jamie is high, you can't even really tell because he is extremely good at hiding it. Jamie has an addictive personality. He doesn't know when to stop. If it's drugs, food, alcohol, he doesn't have a limit. I consider Jamie an addict. Jamie, at times, would say that he is, but he kind of goes back and forth with it. I don't think he wants to be known as being an addict. Jamie is very worried about his self-image and about what people think about him. I feel like the Jamie that I first met is not the same person. He's just totally different. I love Jamie, but if he continues to use drugs, then we're just both going to have to go our separate ways.
Can I explain something then, I guess? I mean,
yeah, say whatever.
The thing about steroids is that is something that when someone hears that someone takes that, which is basically anyone's favorite athlete in this room, I don't care what anybody says. I mean, I'm not going to say names, obviously, because that's just, I don't do that. But they're people discredit them for their hard work. People don't look at them the same way. They think it's all, like it's a magic pill, like it's a magic potion, and you just wake up and all of a sudden you're Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's not how it works. You know, you got to diet. You got to do hours in the gym. I mean, I can't even explain how much even harder it is.
Well, why not do the hard work without using something like that? I mean, you're already putting in the hard work. You're doing a lot, you know, to
Jamie,
stay
trust me, you can do it.
Healthy.
You can do it.
No, we're here. We're here.
Believe me.
It doesn't.
Yeah, but it's not like. But you know what? Yeah, I've used steroids. Okay, but you know that's not something that. It's not something. It's not something that I took. It's not something that I took to get huge, because I can gain weight, muscle in my sleep. It's the kind that would, you know, you'll get you leaned out. Will take water retention out. You know, it's something, you know, for photo shoots and stuff like that. So you know, when you photograph leaner, you'll look bigger. You know, it adds more shadows. It adds more cut. You know, that's the kind I took. Not to get strength. I'm already really strong. Like I don't need that. But that's, you know, that's the kind I would take, and I would only take them leading up to shoots and stuff like that.
You do know it'll make you lose your hair.
What are you saying?
Old models, right?
Yeah. So, if I'm being real, yeah. But leading up to fitness shoots, every fitness model that you see does it. But you know, I'm not going to be that guy to say who and why. Myself,
I don't care about that. I don't care about those people. What I care about you putting your cards on the table, dealing with your issues, and getting yourself straight. Look, you've got issues, and I promise you something. You can't get through life forever on good cheekbones and abs. Trust me. At some point, you got to have a skill set. At some point, what's going to get you through is having some knowledge, having something to contribute. Because trust me, everybody gets old. And at some point, things get closer to the sidewalk. And you better hope when that happens that you got something up here, that you got something to offer. And that's why I said, it's clear to me. I've done research on you. You do have a knowledge of kinesiology. You do have a knowledge of working out. You do have a knowledge of nutrition. You do have things that you can market. What you do need to do now is define yourself as a different sort of person. You need to define yourself as somebody that walked out of that dark place. You need to define yourself as somebody that can inspirationally face those demons and come walking out of this. And you don't need to do it for commercial purposes. You need to do it for your purposes. You need to do it because you deserve to be healthy and happy. You need to do it so you stop this stuff. I've read all of this stuff about, well, is he bipolar? He has these mood swings. He has all this aggression. He has all of this. I have no idea what is behind all of that because all of the data is contaminated. You've been doing drugs for so long, there's no way of knowing if you even have any personality problems. You may be the most down-to-earth, grounded person in the world. Who knows? You've had your brain scrambled for so long. Give us a chance to clean you up. You say, oh, I've been sober for 2 weeks. 2 weeks ain't sober. It will take a year for you to cleanse your brain. It will take a year for you to get yourself straight. It will get better every single day, but you will get better. It will begin immediately, and you will get better along the way. But at this point, you can't like your life. Come on, you got mommy and dad are paying your bills. You're having up and down. Come on. Is this a roller coaster relationship? Be honest.
It has been a little bit, yeah.
Are you worried?
Very worried. This is why we're here.
What do you want for him?
I want the best for Jamie. You know, this is a big step for him to even come here because we debated even showing up, you know. And this is hard for him to admit to having a problem. And, you know, he's so worried about his self-image and what people think about him. And I just want the best for Jamie.
Yeah, live hard, die young, and make a beautiful corpse. I get it.
Yeah.
I'm going to give Jamie a minute to think about what I've said. We'll be right back. Are you going to be a help here or a hindrance?
I help. Is help in any way I can.
Because you haven't been so far.
This May.
When you were with her, were you involved with other women?
Yes. Hey, I'm not married, yo. I'm not married.
The stories are more intense.
He grabs my face and hits my head against the wall.
That did not happen?
No.
It's sad how much you lie.
No,
you're
she's
the
crazy.
compulsive
Can I talk now? Because he keeps speaking over me. That's not class. Learn from class.
The accusations are more shocking.
The video is my husband calling my grandson sexy butt.
I miss you, sexy butt.
You touched that boy, isn't that the truth?
I didn't touch any child.
What were you afraid was going to come out if you went to trial?
The scams are more outrageous.
She had sent him over $200,000.
He's my man. It's my life.
He doesn't exist.
Go to hell.
We'll leave her out of it for a minute.
We'll get her out of here then. I'll just give to you, you bitch.
It all happens this May.
I've had anger issues since I was a child. The alcohol absolutely has made the anger awful. The alcohol is what amplifies everything. If you piss me off and I'm drinking, like, I will knock you out. The other day, I was backing out of a parking space, and this guy just backed into my car. I got out of the car, and I just saw red. I snapped. I've gotten violent. There was one time that my parents had to bail me out of jail. Some girl said something to me. I told her off, and she spit in my face and pushed me. So all these guys saw what was happening, and they started to try to jump me. I knocked every single one of them out, all 4 of them.
Okay, I'm back with a family that I think is on the precipice of making some serious decisions. I'm letting Jamie think for a minute. Joey?
They can't even match the music. They can't even rap with us black producers. Now they wanna crack the new shit. They just wanna act that I'm bath the new kids. They can't even match the music. They can't even rap with us black producers. They just wanna crack the new shit. They just wanna act that I'm bath the new kids. Sorry big man, with your big life and your kick man. Sorry big man, with your big life and your whip man. Sorry big.
You're going to have to make a decision. You're either here to cover or you're here to help. You said, I want to help my son. I want to support my son. I guess it comes down to how you define help and support.
Yes.
You want to help him maintain an illusion, or you want to help him become the man that he can be?
Yes.
That's the real question.
I'm here to help my son and to know the facts of what we don't know. That has been the main thing, because there's so much that we don't know. I was afraid that he was not going to do the show and walk off the show if there were certain things that might be brought up. It's such a big step for him to talk about drugs and alcohol that I think Steve and I can both agree on, coming from me, coming from us, just that he got here and he did not walk off the show and was able to be as honest as he can about everything he was going to discuss. So we also can be aware of all that we don't know. Obviously, all this is playing a part in it. It's not something that we have not worried about, wondered about. Sometimes there's been times where my husband has thought he's not on steroids, where I have thought that he was or could be. And it's just... It's hard to know what to do, and there's several things involved here, and they're all huge. They're huge. They can kill him, and we're here, so it won't happen. You know, he needs help with all of it. All those things together.
Well, so have you changed your position? Because when we talked to you originally, you said, and I quote, I'm private when it comes to my son, so I can't tell you too much.
Well, no, Dr. Phil, to get him to come on this show was a huge thing. We were worried that he wouldn't come. He wouldn't be here. He wouldn't come and end up talking about anything. And we thought, well, if he'll talk about those two things, it was basically, for me, protecting the fact that he's going to be here. And yeah, I'm protective of my family. I'm protective of all of my family, you know. Yes, but I want the best for them. Jamie does have some very scary issues for us. And you know, we just need to know how to do it, because it's been hard on our own to do it, to figure it out, to have him stay on board and let us help him. Yeah, the money is a concern.
Are you going to be a help here or a hindrance?
I help. I help in any way I can.
Because you haven't been so far.
My mom, since we started the process, has been trying to influence what my wife and I say here. She's also been suggesting the things that my father should say as well. My brother and my mother are most likely coming up with some sort of game plan or script to make sure that the story is in sync and that Jamie is not painted in any more of a negative way than necessary.
You haven't been honest about everything. You haven't been honest about his steroid use. You guys have known about it for a long time. You told me about it a long time ago. You found needles under beds at your home. You've been telling us to stay on topic, which is your indirect way of us not talking about steroids, because Jamie doesn't want to talk about steroids. But we want to talk about it because the topic is Jamie. That's why we're here.
Right.
And Dr. Phil can't do his job unless he has all of the facts.
Right.
I agree. And the thing is, if Jamie listens to Dr. Phil, and if Jamie does what he says to do to get clean, Jamie can do anything he wants.
He can.
Jamie can have any kind of body he wants. Jamie can do anything he wants.
I'm shaking right now, but you can't really tell because I'm trying really hard not to be shaking right now.
I feel like I am in the twilight zone.
Jamie's behavior has impacted the family negatively. He's the source for a lot of stress. There are conflicts that are created based off of actions that never truly get resolved because they're never talked about.
Other than my parents and I, nothing I've done drug-wise is causing conflict within my family. Not at all.
If I was just taking just that, and maybe the thing is I've had problems with other things.
But listen,
it's a combination of things also.
Yes. But the thing is, Jamie, if you get away from it all right now, if you get away from it all, you'll have a whole different aspect on life. And like Dr. Phil said, people will come to you in droves to listen to what you have to say because you beat it.
Well, that's what I want.
And this is a turning point right here. You have to do it. You have to beat it.
Sorry, Dad. There's a lot of people right now struggling with the same things that you are. And for them to see that and to see you move forward, just in the same way Dr. Phil mentioned earlier, it's very
I'm still sitting here just a little nervous to even talk about it.
Of course.
It's
We're here.
Tough.
We're here. We'll be here after.
I mean, I'm shaking right now, but you can't really tell because I'm trying really hard not to be shaking right now.
Jamie, we're all shaking.
It's just, I mean,
It's a little scary.
I'm trying to hide it, and I'm just like, this is not working. But I want to take that step to stop all of it.
We were at a point
I mean,
before. Yeah, go ahead, honey.
What were you going to say, Mom? Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say at the times where I've gone to Steve and tried to figure out what it was that we were looking at, and you know that. You know what I mean? It's like, and trying to figure out. And there were honest times where you did not think he was using any steroids, and I did. And I came to you.
That's not a consistent use.
So,
that's something that is just leading up to certain things.
Yes, I understand that. But I mean, it's
not like an everyday life thing that I do.
But it's all affecting everything else, Jamie.
It is.
It's all poisoning your body.
It is. It enhances, maybe a problem that you already have. It doesn't give you anger issues. If you already are an angry or an aggressive person, it will enhance it. I'm not going to lie.
It's a catalyst.
And it's not a fun feeling.
But do you understand that if you do go forward with treatment and everything, you can do anything you want.
Absolutely.
You can do anything you want.
We've talked about this.
I've always told this to you. You can do anything you want, anything you put your mind to.
He doesn't need it. But.
Well, let me just. I feel like I am in the twilight zone.
You look so international. Girl, what's your name? I have to know. Ain't no one else in your lane. Let's fill this car with gas and go. No hesitation, I'm on it. If that's the way that you want it, that's cool with me, so let's ride. Let's go somewhere that you lie.
Let's take a break, and I'm going to come back, and I am going to tell you exactly what I think. I am going to put verbs in my sentences, and then we are going to take a vector, a direction, one way or the other. There will be no ambiguity about what I think right after the break. There are two major threats to your future right now, and one is drugs and the other is your mother.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil, Michelle Knight's life is now a movie.
My mom said, I'm worried about you playing that role.
How do you feel as you watch that?
I feel I went right back to where I started.
That's tomorrow.
I want to know everything. everything about Jamie. Any kind of history, drug history he has. I don't want to not know anything. I want to know if Jamie is still using drugs, if he's drinking too much. I want to know everything that there is to know that my son may need help with.
You know, Robin and I raised two boys. Got one about your age and one a little older. And, you know, sometimes I look at this totally objective as a mental health professional that's been doing this for 35 years, and sometimes I can't help but lapse into parent mode and ask myself what I would do if you were one of my boys sitting here. There are two major threats to your future right now. And one is drugs and the other is your mother. And I say that not to insult you. I know you love your son greatly. I think if he needed a kidney, you'd reach in, rip one of yours out, and hand it to him. I have no doubt about that. But it is incredibly misguided. And it's so much easier for me to say than for you to do because you are his mother and I'm not, which is why you go to others who have objectivity because you can't be objective. He's your son. The reason I say the threats to your future and your sobriety are drugs and your mother is because drugs will kill you and your mother will cripple you. Let me tell you something. You need treatment. You need serious, inpatient, dual diagnosis treatment to get you off all substances, to close developmental gaps that have been created by your drug use, to get you where you need to be socially, emotionally, psychologically, and sober-wise. And Mom, when he gets there, if he chooses to do that, I'm going to offer him that. I've asked Robert Parker to come here. He's the executive vice president of Origins Recovery Center. I asked him to join us here today. I'm going to offer this to Jamie. He's going to take this amazingly generous gift I'm going to offer him, or he's not. And he will or he won't. And let's assume for argument's sake that he does, and say he will or he won't. And if he doesn't, there was a time in my career that if he didn't, I would have gone home and said, oh my God, where have I failed? And I would have taken it all on because my job was to save the world.
Grab another bottle of that bubbly, top shelf living. We don't owe you an apology. Grab another bottle of that bubbly, top shelf living. We don't owe you an apology.
But as I matured, I got to the point that said, you know, I've got to learn you can lead them to water, but you can't make them drink, and it's up to them, and I don't take that on anymore. You just leave it to them, and they do it or they don't. But when he gets there, he's going to find things that he doesn't like because of immaturity, and he's going to behave like he did when he went backstage, when he stormed off the stage here. He's going to be yelling at staff and everything like he was back here, being abusive with my people that have busted their butts working with his family to get him here, and be abusive and all of that sort of thing. And he's going to say these people don't know what they're doing and blah, 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 and all of that. And he's going to call you. I could write the letter he's going to send you right now and all of that. And you're going to have to make a decision ahead of time. And you can send him money for a plane ticket, and you can bring him home, and you can pat him, and you can send him right on the way to hell. If that's what you want to do.
That would be doing.
Or you can say, you know what, it's time for me to love you for real and help you to get on your feet and stand on your own. And I hope that's I hope that's what you do. And you can't manipulate the process.
The love is there. It's been hard to know how to handle it when you feel like you're doing it on your own.
This wasn't a close call.
So much.
This wasn't a close call. Did he not ask you to sign a contract that we wouldn't talk about things that would upset your son?
I didn't have a contract with anything, Dr. Phil.
But he did ask us to sign a contract.
He didn't have.
Just say that.
Friday on an all-new Dr. Phil.
It is one of the most twisted and bizarre love deceptions we have ever covered on this show.
She met her dream man online.
Hunter told me he loved me over the phone.
This clearly was romantic.
Yeah, I shared everything with him. I never imagined that he was talking to another girl.
I first met Hiram over Twitter. He saw my picture and he thought I was beautiful. He told me he loves me and he made me feel special.
In love with the same man. But
you're not the only ones.
7 girls.
The man you had feelings for, the man who you thought was Hiram, is here.
And a surprising twist.
What did you think when you found out your identity had been stolen?
Now,
I had never seen a catfish like this one.
The real person behind the deception.
Did you fall in love with any of these girls?
The co-ed and the catfish.
They all say they're afraid of you.
With a shocking revelation.
Are y'all ready to meet the person behind this whole thing?
You won't believe. That's Friday, only on Dr. Phil.
Bugatti riding slow tonight, 'cause I'm loving every moment under city lights. Bugatti riding slow tonight, 'cause I'm loving every moment under city lights.
You're continuing to try to justify to manipulate us. You try to sign a contract that wouldn't talk about things that would upset your son.
Who did?
You.
I didn't have a contract with anything, Dr. Phil.
Did he not ask you to sign a contract?
He talked free.
And he didn't follow through with it.
I didn't have a contract with anything about anybody. I know that I think initially Jamie did. I think it was going to follow through. Jamie did, but I didn't have anything like that.
So,
but he did sign a contract.
Yeah, that was the contract.
You have to be honest. You have to find him.
Right, but
just say I will be honest.
But I think and just are season I met broken Taylor. Out on beats.
Down into negative form of the heroin test. My heroin.
You have no anything to tell. Any way you restore. You need to hear from. He is a not diagnosis treatments, not just drugs, but things that have their health and they offer a gender treatment program for women owned there at Hannah's house. And it's terrific. And I'm telling you that you deserve this. You work every day. Here's what he's doing today.
Hi, Dr. When you saw me September 12 hours, when I got to the house, I was afraid of everything and to be able to be confident in my skin and my lips. They were in the 10th of 2000 that on the show. life is amazing. I have my work today, and alcohol is for me. I'm super grateful I get help from. I am pregnant. I go having a little in her house was probably better out to my positive. I'm just grateful for the doctor show and just you guys did give me the opportunity to help my dad came on the Dr. Phil show. What else without Dr. on his crew?
I want to thank all today, and a special thanks to Robert Paul suffering. Be sure to log on to Phil.com for more information. We'll see you next time.